Stephen, he has sacked his two main partners. He has dissolved parliament. This is Somalia's president we're talking about. Also failed to introduce the security and the unity he promised when he came to power back in January of last year. And now Sheikh Sharif Ahmed facing a challenge from the Prime Minister he has let go. It's all a bit complicated. We're going to explain it now with Dr. Afyari Elmi. He is a Somali commentator, Professor of International Politics at Qatar University here in Doha. What is the story here? The Prime Minister has been let go, but the Prime Minister says, Mr. President, you don't have the power to do that. Is he right?
Well, actually, this goes back to the parliamentary decision, or at least what has been reported by the media, that the parliament came together on Sunday, and obviously there was problems between two divisions of the parliament, one with the speaker and the other one with the cabinet, mainly with the prime minister and the deputy prime minister. So there was actually some problems within the parliament, and the speaker declared that the government lost the confidence of the parliament. Within short, time, those who rejected the speaker's decision came together and they said that we have sacked the speaker and we also have elected our own speaker. Yeah. So this goes back to the parliament actually, and it was that time that the prime minister came in and said there was no motion that has been taken for the government. This was illegal, and the speaker.
He's saying you can't just dismiss me just like that. There's got to be a motion against him specifically.
Yeah, that is exactly what he's trying to say. But let me just go back and say that this is not a procedural or legal problem. This is a political problem. It's a challenge for Sharif and the TFIs, or transitional federal institutions. But I think it's one that can be resolved successfully and perhaps easily, as they did with the speaker.
But here's the problem I see, that you've got a prime minister saying I shouldn't be sacked. You've got support withdrawn from two political parties. So that's got to be putting pressure on the president as well. Yet the president, and I've been reading articles where he's still backed by the United Nations who say, you've still got our full support. There's support and support falling away on all different sides here. How can that government function?
Well, I think this can create another opportunity for the government if this is resolved politically in a way that is win-win situation for all groups that are involved. And I think it can be done. Remember this, the speaker also was somehow sacked in a procedural way that is questionable. Yet they have cut deal with him, and now the speaker will come back as a member of the cabinet later on. So that deal was made. It was a political deal, not a legal deal.
But if you're cutting deals, I mean, that's not the way to form a solid government, is it?
Well, here we're dealing with a post-conflict context. And in fact, the challenges go far beyond the institutional design that we have. We have to understand that the semi-parliamentary system that we have in Somalia is not suitable at this stage for the conflict and the context that it's aiming to resolve the problem. And this is an institutional problem. It goes back to the peace processes, and this has to be rectified if anything is to function in Somalia as an institution. But I think this standoff between the Prime Minister and the President can be resolved easily, I believe.
What do you make, though, of the President's position at the moment? As we said in the intro, he promised a lot. He was brought in as a man who people thought, well, he can deal with the Islamists, he can help bring things together. It hasn't worked. As you've pointed out, it's post-conflict, it's very difficult. Can he deliver on any of those promises, do you think?
Well, I think it's going to be a challenge, particularly given the context that we have and the institutional problems and also the forces that are so fluid. It's going to be difficult. But I think he can make some progress if he resolves these problems politically at this stage. And I think this is doable. But eventually this will come back once and more time, as long as we have these institutions. Because former president had problems with two prime ministers. Even Abdul Qasim and Abdullah Yusuf both had problems with their own prime ministers. It is the institutional issue that's inherent with the system that needs to be addressed.
So overcome that and they might just get a stepping stone forward.
I hope so.
Dr. Afyari Elmi, thank you for coming and great talking to you.
Great talking to you too.
Presidential race heating up in Colombia. The country is going to be choosing the man who will replace President Alvaro Uribe in less than 2 weeks. And the polls show a former mayor of Bogotá is in the lead, campaigning for